CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with concerns in the local Muslim community after a mass shooting in the U.S. earlier this week. Two gunmen opened fire at a mosque in San Diego, and in the aftermath, a manifesto was discovered referencing a truck attack that killed 4 members of a London family 5 years ago. With more on the local reaction and the ongoing fear of hate-based violence, here's Jerry Dewan.
Police responded to reports of a shooting at the Islamic Center of San Diego just before noon Monday. A security guard and 2 staff members were found dead outside the mosque.
It is extremely outrageous to target a place of worship.
The gunman, a 17-year-old and an 18-year-old, were found dead from self-inflicted wounds a short time later. The 75-page manifesto, believed to have been written by the shooters, was found online. It referenced the truck attack targeting a Muslim family in London on June 6th of 2021.
It's re-traumatizing, of course, just seeing those images that are unfortunately quite familiar for everybody.
Selma Toba is a board member with the Youth Coalition Combating Islamophobia. She's been active organizing Our London Family events and advocating for action to counter hate activities.
A lot of us in the Muslim community were anticipating this news. I think we know that hatred and violence inspires more violence, unfortunately.
The manifesto also identified the man who killed 6 at a Quebec City mosque in 2017 in a section called Heroes and Inspirations. Alexander Bissonnette was also named by the man responsible for a mass shooting at mosques in New Zealand in 2019.
It's draining beyond words. It's exhausting. Constantly having to be worried about your personal safety, about your community safety, about the safety of your friends and family.
Toba says governments and community leaders must continue to confront hate speech, particularly online.
Really being aware of and understanding that we are at a time of rising white supremacist violence and that we're seeing these groups become more emboldened and that they inspire one another.
The 5th year anniversary of the tragedy here in London falls on a Saturday. There are a number of events planned, including a vigil here at the Our London Family Memorial starting at 6:30 in the evening. Jerry Dewan, CTV News.
London City councillors will consider fining pet owners who leave their animals exposed to dangerous temperatures inside a vehicle. Daryl Newcomb has more on that conversation just in time for summer weather.
Tails are wagging in this dog park after learning the City of London is considering a new $300 fine for leaving animals exposed to dangerous temperatures in unattended vehicles.
I think it's a great idea. I think dog owners, pet owners should be very, very careful when they leave their animals in an unattended vehicle.
In both summer and winter conditions, vehicle interiors can reach dangerous temperatures in only minutes. So last year, Council asked staff to bring forward bylaw amendments that would discourage and fine pet owners who put their animals at risk. The $300 amount is based on the most common penalty for a first offense in other municipalities.
I think that people are very okay with somebody receiving a fine if they have left their animal in a hot car. And I think this ultimately is about education and a reminder, do not do it.
London police say they're called to respond to distressed animals locked inside vehicles every summer, and criminal charges can potentially be laid. They remind Londoners that the public is not authorized to break a vehicle's window to free an animal.
That is a valid reason to call 911. Police, we have the ability to respond to that, and if need be, we can break that window. There's also animal welfare inspectors across the province that can respond as well.
Some municipalities require a specific temperature threshold outside to be met before a fine can be issued. In London's case, they're considering the status of the animal, specifically if there are reasonable grounds to conclude that the animal is in distress because of the temperatures inside the vehicle.
And it also allows for, let's say in the wintertime, if somebody leaves out an animal and it's been in their car for 5-6 hours, no heat's on, it gives a bit of leniency to our staff to be able to make that decision.
Frank adds that the municipal fine would help offset some of the policing costs when people dial 911.
We want to be able to recover that cost, and I think we want to make sure that our animals are as safe as possible.
Establishing the $300 fine will be considered by a council committee on May 25th. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
A new gene therapy treatment is available at London Health Sciences Centre for people living with a rare bleeding disorder. Previously, patients relied on regular transfusions. Brian Bicknell has more on what this could mean for the future of their treatments.
So now, like when the doctor tell me you are good, first thing I will do sports. Yeah.
Basil Abojowicz dreamed of playing sports his whole life, especially soccer, but he could never get his kicks because he lives with hemophilia B, in which the body does not produce enough factor IX, a protein needed to clot blood or stop bleeding. This rare disorder comes with repeated unpredictable bleeds, joint damage, and a whole lot of pain.
It's a lot of pain, to be honest, like when you have a bleeding and you cannot like do your normal life activity, as I like even sometimes go to washroom. Like if you have bleeding in your ankle or anywhere, like you cannot walk.
For the 31-year-old and others with the disorder, it means lifelong treatment of ongoing and often weekly factor IX transfusions. But there is new hope for patients. Last week, Basil became the first person in Canada to be treated with Hemgenics at London Health Sciences Centre. It's a one-time gene therapy for adults with the disorder.
This milestone marks a transformative step in Canadian haemophilia care.
Dr. Chai Pua, who oversaw the treatment, says the new gene therapy, decades in the making, is life-changing for adults with the disorder.
Yes, absolutely. Major breakthrough because it shifts hemophilia B treatment from this lifelong frequent infusion to this one-time therapy that helps the body produce its own factor IX. And so less bleeding overall, less treatment burden, and potentially independence from regular treatment. It's a full paradigm shift in terms of how we treat hemophilia B.
As for Basil, he can't wait to leave the sidelines and finally get out on the pitch, a freedom he's never known.
To be honest, I never do sport in my life, so this is the big, yeah.
Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
Officials with Western's Northern Tornadoes Project say Tuesday's storm damage in London was caused by an EF1 downburst. They say at the peak of the storm, winds reached 145 kilometers an hour, uprooting trees and damaging roofs in East London. Yesterday, officials confirmed a tornado touchdown near Belmont. No injuries have been reported from either incident. A new report from the Canadian Independent Business Federation suggests there's a growing disconnect between young people looking for summer jobs and the employers looking to hire. Natalie Van Roy has more on the struggle on both sides to find the right fit.
Training protocols, it really depends on the position here.
At this small business in Ottawa, there's a lot of demand to get a job.
I probably have 500 resumes on my desk at any given time.
When Cody Nickel is hiring people starting out in the hospitality business, he says there can be challenges.
I think that there's just a need to temper expectations a little bit. I think sometimes with the younger generation, there can be an expectation to kind of move up in the world a little bit faster than might be realistic.
A new report from the Canadian Federation of Independent Business finds there's disconnect at every stage of the hiring process, from where to search for jobs to the skills needed and the expectations.
That youth come in with perhaps unrealistic salary expectations. And we've also heard from small businesses that what they prioritize most is soft skills. So people skills, motivation, coming in and taking initiative.
During challenging economic times, business owners say the expectations can be higher than the current situation.
It's a little tight financially with the labor cost. For people with no experience, we do pay them minimum wage right now. I guess a lot of people have expectations that it should be $20 or $21 or $22 an hour.
While Alina Khan already has a part-time job, she's searching for a second one to make ends meet.
1 week, you will have enough hours to pay your rent and everything, but the second week, you won't have any hours. So it will be really problematic for us.
Khan says she feels she needs a reference to get in the door.
You have to have a reference or any employee working there to just push it.
And that's another finding from the CFIB.
Businesses rely a lot more on personal connections. So 62% rely on personal connections to recruit.
If you are looking for a job this summer, managers offer these tips.
The most important thing is reliability and attitude. If they can show up on time and they can come in with a great attitude and be willing to work hard and to learn every single day.
My priority is when I see the employee's personality is willing to learn, they're willing to work hard.
Natalie Van Roy, CTV News.
The provincial government is imposing a ban on Chinese-made drones for police departments, citing security concerns during highly sensitive investigations. With more on those issues and whether other imports are affected, here's Adrian Gobriel.
They're a vital eye in the sky being used in active police investigations across Canada.
So this drone here weighs, I don't know, like 7 pounds.
Though all drones manufactured by Chinese companies are now grounded and banned from use during highly sensitive Ontario provincial police operations to guard against what the province calls bad actors.
Growing concern that Chinese national intelligence laws will basically allow their government to have access to potentially use or weaponize, if you will, different types of electronics for espionage purposes.
This release by the Ontario government outlines that under current Chinese law, companies incorporated by China may be required to disclose data even if that data is stored outside of the country. This raises security concerns about Chinese-made drones, which could possibly access or store sensitive information. It's a worry that has led to similar steps being taken in both the US and the UK.
So you can potentially embed an awful lot of basically spy malware across these different types of technologies, from the software itself to the hardware.
Some global security researchers believe other electronics developed and manufactured by Chinese companies should also be looked at closely.
Laptops, cell phones, tablets, these are all potential pieces of technology that are vulnerable.
While not currently deemed a risk by the federal government, there are those who believe the 49,000 Chinese-built electric vehicles destined for the Canadian market this year also need to be scrutinized.
If there's software, if there's electronics in those vehicles, which there obviously are, then those are potential security risks.
As for Chinese drones, the Ontario government says their usage will be phased out by each provincial agency and replaced in part by ones made by Canadian companies. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Toronto.
There are increasing concerns among Ontario mechanics over the number of tires piling up in their storage. They're supposed to get recycled, but as John Woodward reports, that's not happening.
It's been busy at Amarjeet Singh's tire shop as many customers are switching from winter to summer tires.
We have the more cars coming, more tire installing.
When a tire he encounters is at the end of its life, it's supposed to be recycled. But try as he might, Singh can't get anyone to pick them up.
I can see since maybe 2 months or 3 months, nobody came.
The result, a pile of tires in front of his Northern Etobicoke store, and he's not the only mechanic spinning his wheels. We found hundreds of tires at other stores in the area, with an industry group saying it's happening all around.
We're getting reports from hundreds of collection sites across the province that they're now stranded with hundreds to thousands of tires.
It was the same story just 6 months ago. Consumers pay about $5 a tire that goes to companies contracted to pick them up, known as producer responsibility organizations, but they just weren't accepting them. Ontario's government just finished consultations on proposed measures that would require these organizations to pick up from anywhere with more than 50 tires and guarantee a response time.
We're basically teetering towards a tire crisis.
But the NDP's Tom Merkocevic says that's not enough. He's calling for the recycling targets to be lifted from about 65% back to 90% where they were before these tire piles started being an issue.
The producers got together, lobbied the government, they dropped the target down to 65%, and voila, you got tires everywhere because people are paying to recycle tires that are not getting recycled.
The worst case scenario, a tire fire, just like what happened in Hagersville in 1990. Ontario's Ministry of Environment said in a statement it's reviewing the consultations and, to be clear, our government expects producers and producer responsibility organizations to collect and manage all end-of-life tires as they become available. That may take months, with the per-tire price expected to increase in the meantime to $6 a tire. Singh has one big question.
I don't have any more room to where are we going to keep the tires.
He wants the tire recyclers to get rolling. John Woodward, CTV News.
A local Star Wars superfan recently got back from the trip of a lifetime, experiencing a Hollywood premiere for the franchise's latest film. Brent Lale has more on the costume that took him from Corunna to the red carpet.
This is the First Order Stormtrooper that I wore in the Macy's Day Parade back in 2021.
That was Star Wars cosplayer Dean McInnes, front and center.
I belong to 3 Star Wars fan clubs. I belong to the Mandalorian Mercs, the 501st, and the Rebel Legion. So with them, we do a lot of charity events. We go to children's hospitals. All the money we raise goes to the charities.
Dean has 9 official Star Wars costumes, including this Darth Vader one from The Empire Strikes Back. But it was his official fan club approved Din Djarin outfit which caught the attention of Lucasfilm. They flew him from southwestern Ontario to Hollywood to be on the red carpet for the premiere of the upcoming film The Mandalorian and Grogu.
We dressed up and went out on the red carpet, and we met Pedro Pascal, Jon Favreau, and all the stars that were in the film. They signed our stuff, and it was so great. And then right after that, we de-kitted, and they waited for us to come into the theater. And we went into the El Capitan, and we watched the movie, and it was fantastic.
Strap in.
There's something for everybody. In this new movie that's out, we saw it. I was smiling for the first hour. I couldn't get the grin off my face sitting there watching. I couldn't believe I was there. It's a dream come true for any Star Wars fan to go there, but to be that involved and to be that present with all the actors and Disney and LFL bringing us there to do everything, it's so fantastic. I recommend people to go see it. It's an adventure from start to end, and Grogu is the star.
Brent Lale, CTV News.
Still ahead, Canada's champions. Montreal earned the country's first ever PWHL title with a London player holding down the blue line. Canada's main stock index was up on strength in the energy sector. The TSX gained 248 points. In New York, the Dow added 276, the Nasdaq up 23. The Canadian dollar fell 0.17 of a cent today. On commodity markets, gold gained more than $7 an ounce, oil down almost $2 a barrel. Canadian military officials say they are critically short on equipment. They say the situation is bad enough. They're asking some personnel to return items to address the shortages. With more, here's Annie Bergeron-Oliver.
Thousands of troops in the Ottawa area are being asked to hand in some of their field gear to help compensate for what the Defense Department is calling critical equipment shortages.
It doesn't send a very positive message, even though it might be normal. It just indicates just how weak the procurement system is, how low the stockpiles are, and just how much demand there is on operations right now.
About 10,000 troops received an email last week requesting they return rucksacks, patrol packs, tactical vests, and fragmentation vests. The Defense Department says the equipment will be reissued to deployable units. Personnel in non-deployable units do not require this equipment for their day-to-day duties. This, in conjunction with several other initiatives, will also help address potential shortfalls of items, particularly of highly demanded sizes.
It's a reflection of the mindset we've lived through several generations at National Defense, which is without enough to go around, you get by with as much as you can get away with.
Ottawa has promised to scale up military recruitment and add tens of billions to the defense budget. But experts say changing that scarcity mindset and modernizing procurement policies will take time.
Those quite literally growing pains of an organization that for decades has not been used to grow and has policies in place that are, as we can see, not well adapted in terms of scale, scope, and complexity to the ask that the government has of the Canadian Armed Forces.
The department says these kinds of requests are issued periodically and that the gear could go to Latvia to new recruits or be used for training. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
Good evening, I'm Lauren Stallone. Mainly clear, calm conditions heading into the night tonight. Tomorrow we will see some sunshine to start your day on Friday before clouds start to increase as we track that next low pressure system move through from the south. I'll break it all down for you and what that means for your weekend plans after the break.
Welcome back on the desk now with Lauren Stallone, who's handling the forecast for us tonight. Lauren, coming off a lovely day today. For spring, it was lovely.
Absolutely. It was a beautiful day today, Carlyle. We saw lots of sunshine today, and if you were able to get outside and enjoy the nice weather, that was the perfect day to do it before we see that next low pressure system come through tomorrow into Saturday. So our daytime high today, 16 degrees. That's just below normal for this time of year. Our record high was in 1941 at 32 degrees. Heading into the night tonight, mainly clear conditions before we see some sunshine to start your day on Friday. We're tracking that next low pressure system that's going to come through Friday night into Saturday. We'll see the majority of that pressure system come through on Saturday, though. So Friday, like I said, mainly sunny conditions to start your day. We'll see cloud coverage start to increase and temperatures start to warm up before the winds start to pick up as well, and we might see some rain in the forecast later on Friday. So let's take a look at how that's going to play out. Like I said, Friday, a beautiful day to start off. We'll see lots of sunshine, and then that cloud coverage will start to increase, and we'll see that low pressure system here move in from the south. We'll see majority of that system come through on Saturday, bringing with it heavy rainfall and a chance of embedded thunderstorms. Now, Saturday looks like a really wet and windy day, unfortunately. So if you're going to be heading outside, you're definitely going to need your umbrella, because we won't see that start to clear until Sunday afternoon. Taking a look at your 7-day forecast, Friday sitting at 19 degrees for your daytime high. Once that low pressure system moves through Saturday and Sunday, we'll see temperatures start to climb back up early next week. Now, next week looks like we're ranging between the mid-20s Monday through Thursday, and we'll see mainly sunny conditions with some cloud coverage throughout the week. Let's take a look at Midwestern Ontario now. That rain will come through a little bit later in the day on Saturday. Temperatures 17 degrees on Friday for your daytime high and 15 on Saturday. So once again, once that low pressure system moves through, we'll see those comfortable temperatures return early next week, and lots of sunshine in the forecast Monday through Thursday. Temperatures ranging in the mid-20s to start your week next week. So this weekend will be wet and windy. However, next week that sunshine will return to start your week next week.
Thanks very much, Lauren. Loved ones are sharing their memories tonight of Olivia Rourke, one of the 4 teenagers killed a year ago in a crash near Thorndale on their way home from a softball tournament with their coach. Scott Miller has more on the foundation now established in her honor.
Olivia Rourke lit up every room she entered. She treated every day as an event, according to her parents, Dan and Jen.
I think we always knew that Olivia was special.
Yeah, but we didn't really know how special until people started sharing these stories with you that they wouldn't otherwise share. So she touched a lot of people, and she made a lot of people's lives better and more fun.
Olivia was one of 4 Walkerton area teens killed alongside their coach last May 23rd as they were driving home from a school softball tournament in Dorchester. The 17-year-old Rourke, known as Livy Wow to friends and family, was an avid athlete and leader at Walkerton District Community School, where she had organized a basketball tournament to raise money for breast cancer research in honor of her mother.
When her mom, Jen, was going through chemo, Olivia was there every step of the way with her. And that's a teenage helping her mother through one of the hardest things that a person can face.
Following her death, friends and family held the first ever Hoops for Hope basketball tournament in Olivia's honor, raising $20,000 to date towards cancer research. Cancer care is just one of the 3 pillars of the Olivia Rourke Foundation, founded just a few weeks after the accident.
Doing good through the foundation is a way to kind of keep Olivia's spirit alive. We think she would have done a lot of good in the world over her lifetime, so this is a way to maybe replace some of that that would have otherwise been done.
Along with cancer research, Olivia's foundation is focused on funding youth-led initiatives and advancing women in sport, including yearly awards at the Hanover Aerial Gymnastics Studio, where she competed and taught.
The kids were drawn to her. They all loved having her as a coach. It's just something that's inside of you. It's not really something you can teach. And that was part of who Olivia was.
Along with the annual Hoops for Hope basketball tournament in Walkerton each year, Olivia's uncle is riding his bike from Collingwood to Montreal in a Ride for Live this September to help raise money for for the foundation.
We just want to continue to share that energy and that love of life. Every day for Olivia was an event.
Her family, her friends, we don't need a foundation to remember her because we'll never forget her. We couldn't forget it really if we tried. So the foundation isn't really for us. It's for everyone who really didn't get a chance to meet her so that they can feel just even a tiny bit of what a force she was in the world.
In Walkerton, Scott Miller, CTV News.
Welcome back. Finally tonight, a London hockey player is now a PWHL champion after clinching the Walter Cup last night. Defender Nicole Gosling contributed 3 points in 9 playoff games, helping Montreal become the first Canadian team to win the title. With more on their celebrations, here's Geneviève Beauchemin.
The Victoire's captain, Marie-Philippe Poulin, hoisted the Walter Cup. That sterling silver trophy now on home soil.
Yeah.
Tell me about holding this cup.
Oh, amazing. It's so heavy, but it's so worth it. I think all the effort of this group, it's been unbelievable. And being able to come back to Montreal and share with our fans, it's super cool.
A first win for Montreal, a first win for Canada too in PWHL history. And a victory for fans to savor.
I mean, this is what we've been waiting for. This is what we've been working for. And it's not just about the PWHL. It's about women playing hockey in Canada.
The Victoire clinched the championship in Game 4 over the Ottawa Charge. Abby Rock's shorthanded goal off her backhand. Now that was a thing of beauty for the highlight reel.
I just saw my chance and I figured I may as well try to score. And I'm happy I could get it done and get Pooh out of the box.
Poulin. Her team was determined to do everything possible so the world and Olympic champion would also add this piece of hardware missing from her trophy case. But she says it's the team's win and it will serve as inspiration for girls now growing up dreaming of hockey glory.
Yeah, I was that little kid back in the day where there's not many possibilities for us. There was a lot of men's hockey, but the Caroline Ouellet, the Kim St. Pierre, they paved the way for all of us, and being able to do that and inspire the young generation, being part of PWHL.
And there will be a public celebration in coming days where the Victoire will show off the Walter Cup. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
And that's it for us. Thanks for watching. For all of us at CTV News London, I'm Carlyle Fiset. Have a good night.